Good morning and welcome to the adventures of Mac and Anthea. Today is another beautiful morning in Andalusia. Temperature today is going to reach 26 degrees and we've got a light westerly wind. 26 degrees, starting to get to the point where it gets a little bit uncomfortable to work. So we've got a nice light day today. 4 really basic jobs that should go easily. I say that at the risk of jinxing it all. So 4 jobs. First one is fertilising the trees. We're on April the 15th I think now, so we're a little bit late. We really should have done it at the end of March, but we hadn't had a chance to do it. We normally like to get the fertiliser down in time before the rain comes, so that the rain drags the fertiliser down into the soil. We're, like I say, on the 15th of April, we've still had no rain, which is really unusual, so it doesn't really matter that we're putting it down late today. Second job is we've got to go up to the next level with our fruit trees. I'm just going to lightly plough the soil a little bit with the mini digger, ready to soften the soil up, and I'm going to go over it again then with a petrol rotavator. That's our sort of orange fruit tree part and our garden part. Then we've got to put pipes down, irrigation pipes down back on these trees. I've cleaned all the nozzles for the drippers, ready to go back in. Make sure they're all clean and make sure that they're all getting plenty of water down on these olive trees. And then finally, third little job is for a future project. I've got to mount a security camera on top of a telegraph pole, so I've just got to measure the thickness of the telegraph pole so that I can make a mounting bracket stroke sunshade for this camera to go onto it. Then we're done. We should all be done within 4 hours, so let's see how we go. Okay, this is the fertiliser we're going to be using. It's sulphate ammonic, 21%. Basically a general purpose fertiliser that we use on olive trees. I know ideally, yes, we'd use animal feces and that and manure to go on the trees, but there isn't enough of it around here, and of course the farmers are using as much of it as they can themselves because this is so expensive, the fertiliser. Before the Ukraine war, this would probably cost me a maximum of €6-7. It's recently just gone down and it's still €15, so it's not a cheap job. Luckily we won't need much. So okay, we're going to crack this open and I'll bring you back in when we start laying it down at the foot of the trees. Okay, so this morning I've got help. Anthea's come to help. She's still got a poorly wing. You may recall from my past videos that she actually fell on the stairs, dislocated her shoulder, broke her upper arm, and she's had to have a bar inserted down the arm. So she's working on about 1.5 arms at the minute. So anyway, she's going to come and help me and do a bit of filming as I demonstrate how much fertiliser to give these trees. So we'll get started and I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so what I normally do is I'll take a mug of this fertiliser. I'll look at the size of the tree we've got. We're looking to do sort of sprinkle it around the tree about 1/2 metre wider than the branches go. So for this tree, put quite a lot on this. I'm going to put quite a lot on this year because last year we didn't fertilise at all. Okay, so we'll call that one done. That's basically what we're looking to do. Okay, this tree was put in at the end of 2021, so really don't want to be putting too much fertiliser on this one. So what we do is just give it a little bit of a sprinkling around again. And that's that one done. Okay, this tree we put in at the end of 2022 to replace a dead tree. This is its first year in. No fertiliser for this. If you put fertiliser on a new tree, it'll seep down, it'll burn the roots and either kill or stunt the growth of the tree. So no fertiliser the first year for olive trees, or any trees for that matter. Okay, so Anthea's got one bucket. She's going to start fertilising the trees to this side of the property. I've got another bucket and I'm going to do the other side. So we'll fertilise all these and then I'll bring you back in when we've finished for the next task of the day. Okay, so that's the fertilising completed. That took us about 10-15 minutes, doesn't take long. We fertilised 26 trees with a 25 kilogram bag. So you're looking on probably on average about 1 kilo per tree of fertiliser. Okay, so now we're going to move on to actually putting the irrigation pipes back on, but before I do that I'll just run you through the nozzles we use, the old nozzles we used to use and why we don't use them anymore, and the new nozzles that we do actually use at the moment. Okay, these are the two different types of nozzle. This is the old one we used to use. These come in various colours. The colour marks how many litres per hour they move. Now I'm just going to pass the camera over to Anthea to film. Now these regularly get clogged up, so when you get clogged up you just unscrew them and you clean them. The problem with these, and this is missing here, these have a little rubber diaphragm in them. And what happens is when you clean them, they inevitably fall on the floor, they get lost, you can't find them, or they get covered in dirt. Also, these need a minimum of 25 psi to actually work properly, which we often don't have. So we've now ditched these, and we're now using these. These are a sprinkler. You can take them apart to clean them. There's no diaphragm in them. And the good thing about them is you can adjust the flow. So for instance, if you've got a long line of pipe, you'll find that the pressure is there's a lot more pressure at the start of the pipe than by the time you get to the end of the pipe. So what you can do is on your first nozzle at the start of the pipe, you can turn it right down, and then the last one you can turn it right up. So you can get an even sprinkle on all these jets in each individual tree, no matter where they're positioned on the pipe. So they're a lot better. These ones, about once, twice a year, you have to give them a really good clean. Because we've got the pipes up, I've taken these ones off completely. I've taken this home, soaked some in acid to clear all the cowl, because we get the water's very hard in, all these little holes get cowled up. Gave them a good clean out with the air gun, and now I brought them back to fit them back onto the pipe. So what I'm going to do now is I'll stop recording now and I'll bring you back in as I start to roll out the pipe. Okay, so these are the irrigation pipes. We rolled these up so that we could plough with the tractor. Some farmers hang them in the tops of trees and duck underneath them and mess about. I can't be bothered, I just roll them up and get them out of the way. So we're going to carefully roll these back out the bottoms of the trees. We just come and zoom in here. These are the bases here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure these clean once we put the water on, and then start screwing the tops back in and setting the pressure. Okay, so I'll roll this out. Not going to roll it underneath the trees because we want to screw the caps back on. Inevitably, no matter how carefully you roll this pipe up, it gets tangled. Okay, so that's that rolled out. Now we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4 rows to do. So me and Anthea will pull the other ones out, and then we'll bring you back in for the next stage. Okay, so all the pipes are down, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up to the top of the land, clean the main filter, and we're going to flush all these pipes out before we put the nozzles back on. It's pointless cleaning all your nozzles up and getting them all clean, only to put them back in dirty pipes, switch the water on, and then it instantly clogs them all back up again. So what I'm going to do is I'll walk back up to the top, and I'll clean the filter. Anthea will film me doing that, and then what we'll do is we'll carry on from there. Okay, we're up towards the top of the land. You see the grey tank up the top there. That's where the tap for this lower level comes from. Actually, the grey tank is part of a different system, the upper system. We don't use it for lower level. The water source is over there. I think you've probably seen it in previous videos. There with the fenced area around, the big bolts are there. Incidentally, if you're putting an irrigation system, you need the top of your water source to be at least 3 to 4 metres higher than when you're irrigating. Anything less than that and you're going to be struggling to make it work. Okay, so I'm going to walk around here. And as you can see here, this is our filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that apart and clean that, and then we'll get back down below and start the rinsing process. Okay, so that's the filter. I'll give it all cleaned out. Use Anthea's toothbrush. It's all cleaned out now, so I'm going to fit it back in the housing. Okay, so Anthea's gone back down below to switch off all the individual taps to all the individual pipes. We fit a tap to each individual pipe because if we need to do any alterations, cleaning or maintenance to one line of trees, we don't have to switch the whole system off, which requires going back up to the next level. We can switch off each individual pipe as and when we need to for cleaning and maintenance. Okay, so she's almost switched all them off now. I'm going to walk along to the end of this level where the fruit trees are. And just here, Hope you can see there's another tap. So I'll switch that onto down below. Okay, so I'll walk off down below and I'll bring you back in then. Okay, we don't seem to be getting much pressure down the bottom there. The tank, it's not ever so low, but it's low enough. What I'm going to do is I've got emergency supply which we use for the top trees. I'll connect that in and see if that builds up pressure a bit better, just enough to clean the nozzles out. If it doesn't, we shall have to wait till this tank's full again. Okay, so I had to jinx it and say that we were going to have a fairly easy day today. We switched all the pipe work on and we've only got a trickle. This is the main pipe coming from above. This should be actually gushing out of here, but it's not. So we've got a blockage somewhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spark the digger up and go and plough the top bit up near the fruit trees. Leave this running and see if it picks up and clears itself. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to take every section apart from top to bottom until we find the blockage, which is going to be a bit of a drag. Okay, so I'm going to spark the digger up and I'll meet you up on the next level.
Now ploughing round Pepper. Me. Don't plough up the geraniums. Oh, what rock? Quicker way to get rid of the weeds, isn't it? Hey? Quicker way to move the weeds.
Okay, so that's the ploughing done all the way around the fruit trees. This little bank along here I should probably neaten up a bit more of a rake, and I'll probably pass through this with the motorised, the petrol rotavator as well, in getting around the trees a bit better and just turn it over. But anyway, he's not done a bad job, the plough. Looks half decent. So what we're going to do now is, I've noticed my neighbour's actually filling up the tank next door, so we're going to drop back onto the pipework and see if we can find this blockage. I'll probably start by taking the filter out completely and seeing if that'll blast the blockage out without the resistance of the filter in the way, and take it from there. So I'll go and have a go at that, and then I'll bring you back in. Okay, so what I'm doing now, as you can see now, the water's coming through. I'm making sure that all these cleaned out in there. I'm taking the sprinkler, I'm putting it on. There you go. Not bother adjusting them yet, because until we've got them all on, we don't know how much pressure there is. Okay, and let's just repeat all the way down the line. You can see now we've got. You can see now we've got quite a bit of pressure. Okay, so we're going to continue on all the lines, all the pipes, until these are all done, and we'll bring you back. Okay, it looks like it's sandwich break time then. We'll leave that first row water for a minute, and then we'll get a start on the next one. Okay, so that's us done for the day. We've got all the nozzles back on. It's irrigating, but I'm going to leave that probably for 5 hours to irrigate all that bottom level, and I'll come back later probably on the bicycle. So yeah, it all went pretty well, apart from the blockage in the water, which is fairly typical day in off-gridding. There's always problems that come without warning and really shouldn't happen, but we sorted that. But we was planning on doing an extra little bit of work, a sort of side job if we get everything done, which we're not going to do now. I'll take you over and have a look at that now. Yeah, this was just the last little job we thought we might do if we had a bit of time, but we're worn out now, we've had enough. So all we've got to do is move this mulch that's been sitting in the corners in the way a bit over to a pine tree at the top of the property. The pine tree's roots are starting to come out the ground a little bit, so we want to put this mulch sort of around the base of it to keep the damp stored in at the roots, and hopefully the pine tree will do a bit better then. Well, that's it for today then. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.